I never imagined one night could change everything. It started as an innocent mistake, one that put my stepson and me in a situation neither of us expected. The house was freezing, the storm outside was relentless, and with no heat, we were forced to share the only warm bed available. At first, it was awkward, but we laughed it off, trying to make the best of it. But as the night went on, something shifted. Unspoken tension filled the air, and suddenly, things weren't so simple anymore. Every movement, every glance carried a weight neither of us could explain. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just my mind playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew something had changed, and once the night was over, there was no going back. The next morning, everything felt different. I told myself it was just in my head, that nothing had really changed, but the silence between us said otherwise. My stepson barely spoke as he got up, avoiding eye contact as he hurried out of the room. I sat there for a moment, replaying the night in my mind, wondering if I had imagined the whole thing. Maybe it was just the strange circumstances, being stuck together, the cold, the exhaustion. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. All day, the air between us was heavy. At breakfast, he barely touched his food. When I tried to start a conversation, he gave short answers and quickly found an excuse to leave. Something was wrong, and I had no idea how to fix it. As the day went on, the tension only grew. I could feel my stepson pulling away, but I didn't know why. Had I done something wrong? Or was he just as confused as I was? Every time I tried to talk to him, he found a reason to leave the room. It was like he wanted to pretend last night never happened. That evening, I found him sitting alone in the living room, staring at his phone but not really looking at it. I hesitated, then sat down across from him. "Hey," I said softly. He glanced up, his expression unreadable. "About last night." "We don't have to talk about it," he cut in quickly, his voice tense. That's when I realized he was struggling with this just as much as I was. A heavy silence filled the room after his words. I could see the unease in his eyes, the way his hands fidgeted as if he wanted to escape but couldn't. "I just don't want things to be weird," he mumbled, finally looking up at me. His voice was strained, almost uncertain. I nodded slowly, choosing my words carefully. "Me neither," I admitted, "but ignoring it isn't making it any better." He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I know, He stopped, shaking his head. Whatever he was about to say, he swallowed it back. Then, before I could press further, the front door suddenly creaked open. We both turned, our hearts pounding. Someone else was here, and just like that, everything became even more complicated. The door creaked wider, and my heart pounded as I held my breath. My stepson tensed beside me, his eyes locked on the entrance. Then, a familiar voice broke the silence. "Hello? Is anyone home?" It was my spouse. Panic flickered across my stepson's face, and I felt it too. Not because we had done anything wrong, but because we both knew something had shifted between us. Something we didn't know how to explain, and now we had to act normal. Footsteps echoed down the hall, getting closer. My stepson shot me a glance, a silent agreement passing between us. We weren't ready to talk about last night, not yet. But just as I opened my mouth to greet my spouse, they paused and frowned. "Why do you two look so nervous?" My spouse's eyes darted between us, sensing something was off. My stepson shifted uncomfortably, forcing a laugh. "Nothing, just tired," he muttered. But the way he said it wasn't convincing. I tried to steady my voice. "Yeah, the storm kept us up all night." Technically, it wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the whole truth either. For a moment, I thought we had smoothed it over. But then my spouse's gaze landed on the sofa, where an extra blanket was folded neatly. "Wait, did you two sleep in the same bed?" My stepson froze. My breath caught. This was it, the moment everything would unravel. Just as I scrambled for an answer, my spouse suddenly smiled. "Well, at least you two are finally getting along." I let out a shaky laugh. If only they knew. Forced a smile, nodding along as if everything was completely normal. My stepson let out a breath, relaxing just a little. "Yeah, I guess we are," he said, managing to sound casual. My spouse laughed, oblivious to the tension that had been hanging in the air just moments ago. As the night went on, things slowly settled. We went back to our usual routine. Dinner, small talk, the usual hum of life moving forward. But deep down, I knew something had shifted between my stepson and me. Not in a bad way, just different. Maybe we didn't have to talk about that night. Maybe some things were better left unspoken. But as I caught his glance across the room, I knew. We both understood. And that was enough.